Hello and welcome. In this, our fourth and final episode in this series, we'll be focusing on the 24 Hours of Le Mans from 1967, featuring the Ford GT40 Mark IV competing against the Ferrari 330 P4, which we have a version of and which is correct for 1967, and will also include the Porsche 908, which isn't technically correct for 67, but it's the best version of the Porsche series of the time that we have.
5 laps, nice and neat, stay out of trouble.
Nice and neat, and stay out of trouble. Famous last words,
go.
In my case. Maybe I can gain some positions. Jumping the start in a way. This version of the Mark IV from 67 is another mod for Assetto Corsa. Actually another paid for mod from the same source, actually same website as the Shelby Daytona, and a lot better quality it is than the previous Mark II I ran. Actually, I referenced Forza Motorsport in the previous episode, and when I went to look for an update to the Mark II I had to maybe improve the quality, I read that it may have been pulled from Forza. So I suppose the less we talk about that, the better. But also, hence the quality or lack of that model. It's not the same case here. Also, 4 gears, which is correct, 4 speed.
On your left, clear left. Car left.
V14.
Clear left.
And I gained some positions. As I progress in the
Left
years,
side.
the cars
Still
seem to
there.
become more
Clear
difficult
left.
to drive. You would maybe assume the opposite. The AI tend to pile up here sometimes.
Car
Whether
right, clear right.
using official or
side.
non-official content.
Clear right.
So 1967, the Mark IV was 500 brake horsepower with a top speed of just over 205 miles per hour. And I read that this car ran
Yellow flag.
in 1967. It ran at Sebring and Le Mans only, for some reason. And we talked about Ken Miles, mechanic and test driver, in relation to the Shelby Daytona and the GT40 Mark II. Ken had survived World War II, and in 66, the previous year, lost his first place to Bruce McLaren based on where his car had started and finished. Technicality, of course, but then later in August of 66,
Watch out.
they're back in at the test track at Riverside in California, and Ken was testing what was called the J car. The J car design, which was the basis for the Mark IV, was lighter and carried nothing over from the Mark II. And Ken drove the car very fast and crashed and lost his life. That was in August of 66, so very sad. Following Ken's death, the design was completely reworked by Phil Remington, making it more efficient and, more importantly, a lot safer. And later on in 1970, Bruce McLaren also lost his life. So he was only 32. Leave it in second on this turn. See if it doesn't slide out. Bruce McLaren, of course, as I mentioned in the previous episode, being the founder of McLaren. So his name lives on. And another loss, along with John Surtees, but fortunately a lot later in life, was Dan Gurney, who I mentioned. Drove in 66 and 67. Dan died in January of this year, January 2018, and I was watching the 24 Hours of Daytona on the INSA channel on YouTube, and the guys there put out a tweet on Twitter in memory of Dan, and it said that when Dan got the first place win here in Le Mans in 67, that he broke open the bottle of champagne and sprayed it around, and legend goes he's the first guy to do that. That's where the tradition comes from, it seems. So if I don't crash and burn before the end of the 5th lap, the game will quit on me, which it has been doing. So I'm used to starting a recording session and then having to restart a race in more ways than one, because it tends to just, I don't know, bring on the Unreal Engine, I suppose. Still, many of us have many hours in Assetto Corsa and will continue to. In fact, it's the basis of many YouTube channels, I suppose. Oh. And also the 1966 and 67 was the beginning and end of an era in a way, because the FIA began to ban these unlimited capacity engines, these 7-litre engines. So anything greater than 3 litres wasn't.
The leader has just done a 3:36.1 seconds.
Anything greater than 3 litres wasn't permitted in a prototype car. Let's see.
That last lap was a 3:41.2 seconds.
If I can drive carefully, I can take it home.
Okay, Dave, keep piling on the pressure. He'll make a mistake.
No, he won't. I will. It's not the sliding about. Try to remember the correct racing line, apexes and so on. It's hard to stay alive and talk and also remember your braking points, apexes, correct line. How the real drivers do it, and for 24 hours I will never understand. Ah, there's a warning. Never mind. So can I get it above? There's the 205.
Clear left.
Okay, Dave, hold your nerve, just keep it smooth, no mistakes.
On your left, clear left. On your left, clear left.
I have damage off again, of course. But I'm not pitting. I have fuel usage on. And all the assists are off, of course, as it should be.
Yellow flag, caution.
Had a friend of mine try Assetto Corsa a few weeks ago, and I put him in a 2017 Porsche, the RSR. Oh, there's a
Left side, clear left.
crashed Porsche.
Right side,
He ended up the same because
hold your line. Hold your line.
I ran it for him with most of the assists off, and went away for 5 or 10 minutes, came back, and bless him, he didn't get very far. I guess I should have remembered. It's not so easy if you're not used to it.
Car
Brake on.
left.
Oh, there's a
Still
punt.
there, clear left. On your left.
Well, that's what you get for
Clear left.
turning up the AI aggression.
Left side,
Right.
hold your line. Hold your
And the
line.
names just magically reappear for no reason. Names.
Clear left.
What's magic in Italian? I don't know. These guys are being... They're either aggressive
Alpha Douglas, 3,
or
28.6
retiring
seconds.
too early. Bit of a mixed bag overall. He's going to pull out in front of me.
Left side, clear left. On your
Can I
left.
take him on the start-finish straight? Yes.
2 laps remaining. You're halfway home. We think about 3 laps of fuel left, 10th position.
This is before where the application just quit. Just ended the session abruptly.
Distracted. Defend your position.
Don't be distracted. Well, that's nice. Try not to be when there's a 908 trying to take me out. Oops.
Car right.
There I go.
We've been warned about track limits.
Yes.
Clear right.
So have I. I shouldn't have been able to recover from there, but... Oh dear. I guess I'm kind of doomed now. Fourteenth. Should have slowed down on that right turn. Definitely. Ridiculous. Be careful here because I will kind of slide to the left. Take a competitor and myself out at the same time.
Car left. Clear left.
They're bunching up for some
left.
reason. Let's
Hold your
go.
line. Still there. Clear left.
Gain some places back. I don't wish to quit anyway.
Left side. Still there. Clear left. On your right.
Oh, he's coming in on the
Still
right.
there. Clear right.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Dave, come on,
I
track
know.
limits. We're
I
seeing lots
know,
of
I
front
know.
locking.
And that, along with everything else, added to the list. Besides, he always says that, especially when I'm driving.
Car right. Clear right.
Come on.
New fastest lap for Douglas, 3:28.5.
Be careful at this Maison Blanche corner because tend to kind of slide, and this 908 up ahead, he's very unpredictable.
Left side. Clear left.
I'm given half a chance. It looks like he wants to take me out.
One more lap to go. P11.
That was nearly a slide. Gently on the brakes, because this was wants to. And this was the highway to the danger zone here in the corner. That's better. This is my last lap. Can I gain some places? Get in his slipstream. Isn't that what they call it?
Clear left.
205 on the limit now. So you're gonna pull out in front of me? No.
Left. Clear left. On your left. Clear left.
This is how it must have been for Dan Gurney in 67 with the champagne waiting. Placing 8th. Now brake with the engine, not the brakes. And slipping again. Oh, out. Can I get it? Can I gain 2 more places before the finish? Let's see. Come on. Leader is on the final lap. I wish that was me. Never. Well, to be fair, I do have the AI dialed up, but that's no excuse at all. Even when they're dialed up, they still do some crazy things. Bring it to a full stop just to take that turn. Can I take out these 2 P4s before the finish?
Lap for Gallardi, 3:28.3.
I don't literally mean take out. I mean pass. Gentleman's rules and all. Seems I'm running out of fuel too. Just about right. Oh, that's close. Come on. Come on. Before I run to the very end. I'm on the limit now.
Clear left. Clear left.
P7. That's the finish. Well done.
Aha. So, finished in 7th, and the game didn't quit. So that is the end, so to speak. So if you liked the video, please add a like and subscribe as well to support the channel. I'd appreciate it. And if you have any questions or comments, please include them below. I would also appreciate that.